time, because I missed it Tuesday. I was just so exhausted that weekend before, so I always love going there. You know, the people are just, if you down and out, they'll give you a blessing just watching them try to praise the Lord with you.
This is their first time with us, I think, I'm pretty sure, but those of you may remember we had a baptizing in their swimming pool a few weeks ago, a couple of months back, and they're with us this morning. She's going to come around safe for us at this time. Y'all make her welcome.
Sister Barbara, I know you don't recognize me, but I know exactly who and I was her grandson's pre-K teacher. And he's a special little boy.
And he
Great.
still is.
And
He
so,
says he's gonna be a preacher when he grows up.
and I believe it. I could have told you when he was 4, so it was a blessing to hear that song. Thank you very much. And yesterday, if I don't say this, I won't be able to sing the song. Yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of our son's death. He killed himself 3 years ago yesterday. He was 19 at the time, so he would have been 22. And all week long, I struggled, and then last night, when I laid my head down, I laid down with a smile for the first time in 3 years.
Thank you, Lord.
Because my precious family, they're not my friends, they're my family, came over and worked and helped, and we fixed supper. We got so tickled at the dinner table at Wendy's expense. I won't tell that story, I'll be nice.
Thank you.
But it was at Wendy's expense.
Always.
And that's the first time I've laughed on that day in 3 years. And we got so tickled that I laughed, and when I laid my head on my pillow, I started thinking about it, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed again. So it was the first time I was able to go to sleep without crying.
Praise the Lord.
And I've been struggling, I've been saying, okay, I'm ready for this walk to get a little easier. Because, people don't know what to say, and that's okay. They keep saying, it's going to get easier as time goes on, it's going to get easier as time goes on. Well, it just flat out ain't got any easier for me, and I don't know if it's my own fault or what, but last night God showed me, it's going to get easier. It's never going to go away, it's going to get easier. And I'm so thankful today, even though he took his own life, but his chains are gone. He was a child of God, and I'm thankful for that. But I know I can say my chains are gone, and my grief of letting it rule my life. Everybody's got chains, and I just pray that you can let yours go too. And like I said, I'm not used to not having my music, so bear with me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. My chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me, and like a flood, His mercy reigns, unending love. Amazing grace, the Lord has promised good to me. His word, my hope secured. He will my shield and portion be. And as long as life endures, well, my chains are gone, I've been set free. My God, my Savior shall soon dissolve like snow. The sun forbear to shine, but God, who called me here below, He will be forever mine.
Are you thankful for that amazing grace this morning?
Amen.
I have been wrestling all week long about the service today, about how I should carry on, what we should do, how things should go. This past Sunday night, Brother Michael and his grandson and his family were with us, and they gave us their testimony, and what an awesome testimony it is. And I knew before church was over that they had to be back here this Sunday morning. But God had given me a sermon, and I'm not going to preach, several weeks ago that I made an outline for and didn't feel at liberty to preach it, but as they get ready to come this morning, I just want to share just a little bit with you. I'm not going to take up much time, but I just want to share a little bit with you as they get ready, and then they can come and have the floor and have their liberty. And when they get done, I'll come back and give an altar call. But I want to just tell you this morning what's on my heart. I feel like God is instructing some folks this morning to come out of the cave. This has been on my heart for a while. We as human beings have a tendency, when we go through trouble, when we go through storms, when we go through hardships, we tend to want to isolate ourselves. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes, amen.
We want to run and get all by ourselves. We want to close the door from the outside world. We don't want to be around anybody. We don't want to have to answer any questions. We don't want to have to talk to nobody. We feel like it's best for us to get all by ourselves and isolate ourselves. The fact of the matter is that is not the best thing for you. The worst thing in the world you can do for yourself is to isolate yourself. To bottle yourself up to where you cannot be reached and you cannot be touched. And my mind went to a man in the Bible by the name of David. David was a man who was anointed king by God. David was a man that before he got put in the position of being king, David was on the run from a man by the name of Saul. And the Bible told us in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 22 that David ran and he isolated himself inside the cave to hide from Saul. You see, Saul wanted to kill David. Saul wanted to prevent David from taking over the kingdom, to prevent him from taking over the throne, and he was seeking to kill David. And David ran and he hid himself in what is called the cave of Adullam. And he went and he hid himself. Now what David didn't realize and understand when he hid himself that day, when he went to the cave of Adullam, the cave was inside the land of the Philistines. Anybody remember early on in David's life when he killed one Philistine in particular? David, as a little boy, he killed a man by the name of Goliath. And when David ran to the land to where the cave was, everybody recognized David as being the giant killer. And David ran and he hid himself inside the cave to get away from everybody. David didn't realize was his popularity overwhelmed him. Everybody that had a problem was going to follow David inside the cave. The Bible told us in 1 Samuel that David went into the cave, and everybody that owed taxes, everybody that had problems, they followed David into the cave. Even David's own mama and daddy followed him into the cave. But I want you to look at chapter 22, verse 5. The Bible said, and a prophet named Gad said unto David, abide not in the hold. Depart and get thee into the land of Judah. There was a prophet that came by and told David, he said, abide not in the hold. In other words, get out of this cave. The prophet knew that David was setting himself a trap by being isolated in that cave. He knew if Saul came around and caught him in that cave, there would be no place for David to run. He would be a sitting duck. And the prophet told him, he said, get yourself out of this cave. I believe today that there's people under the sound of my voice that's in this service. You've been through problem after problem. You've been through heartache after heartache. And you have isolated yourself inside a cave so much that you think, well, this is where I've got to be. This is how it is for me. It's either me live inside of where I am or death is coming my way. The enemy has convinced you and triggered you that this is what it's supposed to be like inside of your life. I believe today the Holy Ghost has sent me, has sent Brother Dukes by to tell you to get yourself out of the cave. Quit trying to hide. Quit trying to bottle things up. Quit trying to do things on your own, because you can't do it on your own. You can't make it all by yourself. And if you bottle everything up that's going on in your life, if you bottle it up inside your life, sooner or later you're going to explode. Sooner or later it's going to come out of you in a manner that's going to cause much destruction in your life. A couple of weeks ago, our sheriff in DeKalb County released a news statement, and I think I shared this with you. But the suicide rate in DeKalb County right now is at an all-time high. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, the news release, the sheriff said that they had investigated at least 5 separate suicide incidents in DeKalb County. Can I tell you today, that is all due to people being inside a cave, isolated from God. I want you to know today, church, the enemy is as a roaring lion walking around seeking whom he may devour in this house today. And you may be sitting here today and you may be saying, well, Brother Adam, I'm okay. Everything's good in my life. I've been saved for 40 years. I've been a Christian all of my life. I've been on this church pew. I'm proud and I'm glad for the blessings that's in your life. But make no mistake, the enemy wants nothing more than to tear you down and to destroy you. And if he finds an inkling, just an inch, just a small amount of a way to get inside of your mind, to get inside of your life, I want you to know he'll wiggle himself in, and he'll come in and he will attack you in a manner that you never thought you would be attacked. He will attack your mind and convince you and deceive you into thinking that there's no hope for you, that there's no way out, that the only thing that's left for you is death. But I want to tell you today that there is a God in heaven today that wants you to know that he is more than enough for you and your problems in your life. He is more than enough to solve the problems you have in your life. And today, if you'll get yourself out of the cave, if you'll quit running away from God, but instead if you'll run to God this morning, he'll show you that there is an answer for you in your life, in the troubles you have right now. He'll show you that he is the way. The Bible said that he is the way, he is the truth, and he is the life. No man comes to the Father except by him.
Amen. Thank you, Jesus.
The enemy, he comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. But he has come so that you can have life.
Thank you, Lord.
And you can have it more abundantly. What I'm trying to tell you today, church, is to get yourself out of the cave, come out of the cave, come forth and run to God this morning. Now this young man is going to come by and he's going to give you his testimony, and I want you to listen with every intent of your heart. And this morning I want you not only to listen, but I want you to take it to heart. Because even in a crowd this small, there's people dealing with stuff.
Amen.
There's people right now in this audience that's dealing with life and death situations. There's people in this audience right now that's dealing with something that's much bigger than they are. And there's somebody in this audience this morning that very well be making the decision. Well, am I going to keep on, or am I going to end it today? Can I tell you today, if you decide that you're going to end it, it never ends.
Amen.
It never ends. Your walk here on this earth may end, but it never ends. There's still a God in heaven that you're going to face.
Amen.
And he's going to deal you whether you're going to make heaven your home or whether your hell is going to be your home. And as a testimony, my friends, for the people that's left here on earth, it never ends for them. There's not a day that goes by that they don't think about their son, that we don't think about our son, that there's not a day that goes by that there's not hurt in the heart. And just because that seems like it's the answer, it's not the answer. There's always something else that can be done.
Amen.
Brother Michael, as y'all make y'all's way, I want you to talk and testify from the depths of your heart. Let God lead you. When you're done, I'll come back and get him an altar call. But church, y'all listen. Pay attention to what this young man said, because it very well may be life or it may be death in whatever you're going through this morning.
Brother Adam, I'd like to stand up and say something. Now, my
Yes, sir.
daughter-in-law and my grandson is the one that's going to do the test. You know, we as general people are so used to running to God and telling God about our problems. Why don't we just turn around and run to our problems and tell him about our God?
Yeah.
You know, because like I say, our God's bigger than any problem that we can have. And He's our comfort through each and every bit of this. And there's a lot of heartache and discomfort through each and everything that we do in this world. But now, first and foremost, you got to give your life to God. You got to, honor Him in everything that He